Here's something no one tells adult experts learning Japanese. You don't need to go out of your comfort zone. Hello again, I'm Mariko, and you're listening to Wanderlust Japanese. Konnichiwa! Welcome back to Wanderlust Japanese, where I share real-life Japanese and cultural insights for whom learning Japanese was not the dream. But life happened. In the last episode, we talked about who this podcast is for. And today we want to talk about how we actually approach to this language as adults. If you look online for advice on how to learn Japanese, you probably see same 3 or 4 pieces of advice, such as get out of your comfort zone, make Japanese friends, delete your English app, immerse yourself in Japanese environment. Yeah, they're okay, but have you ever thought if this advice is really for you? As an adult expat myself, living in a new country, learning a new language, I've realized one thing. An advice that works for 19, 20 years old student can be an active sabotage for an adult expert like us. So today, I want to share 3 pieces of counter advice that might feel wrong at first, but I promise they will help you stay the person you are. Number 1, don't go out of your comfort zone, but expand it from the inside. We're often told to go out of your comfort zone. But for an adult expat living abroad, going out of comfort zone means unsafe. It feels exposed, foolish, or exhausted. Think about it. When you have a career, marriage, children, house chores, besides living in Japan, learning Japanese, then where do you really have your comfort zone? At least first 12 months or so, basically the whole world is uncomfortable zone, right? That means you are already surrounded by uncomfortable zone. So they're there. And anyway, they will come. So you don't need to go out and fetch them. And real progress does not usually happen by jumping into the deep end. Instead, it happens when your safe zone, safe space gets just a little bit bigger. I noticed this with something very small. By the way, I'm living in Switzerland and I'm learning German from scratch. And I used to go to the same coffee shop and order the same coffee using exactly the same sentence because that one is already the safe one for me. In Japanese, it was like, コーヒーをください. Nothing's wrong. Safe, easy, right? So I was using the same sentence again and again until one day I heard another customer ordering with slightly different sentence. Actually, I already knew it. I already learned that sentence grammar, but somehow I didn't know that grammar is also appropriate for that particular situation. It happens, you know. For example, in Japanese, if you already know コーヒーをください, but can be コーヒーお願いします or コーヒーをいただけますか? All okay. But you're not sure until you see someone really using it, even if you know that. But can I use that sentence also in this situation? Is it too polite or is it too impolite? I don't want to risk it. So I just go コーヒーお願いします or コーヒーをください. Same thing, because coffee shop itself was already the safe place for me. And that simplest sentence also was already in the safe list, safe one to use for me. So everything was safe, comfortable. That's why I had enough space, my ears and brain had enough space to catch something new and then process. I can use it like this way, you know? So you need the buffer to make a progress. And because that foundation was pretty solid already, that's why I could stretch a little bit. And then after the coffee shop, I started feeling like, oh, maybe I can do that. So I move on to the butcher corner in the supermarket. In Japan, you can buy meat, pre-packed meat from, the refrigerator area, but also you can order directly from a butcher. To be honest, they look more fresh, and you can order which meat, how much, and how you want it to be cut, right? So I always wanted to try that one in Switzerland too. But the communication, impossible. I can't do this ping pong, ping pong. But after a coffee shop, I'm kind of, now I can do this. So I tried, and then I realized, so basically, when I want to order something, whether it's a coffee, meat, a clothes, cosmetic, whatever, just all the rest, you just switch nouns. That's it. It's a small step, small finding, but for me, a big achievement made me so happy. And that is really needed for an adult expert. Just a slightly bigger space. That's how expansion actually happens, not by jumping into the deep end of comfort zone, step by step, by letting it grow from inside. When you're a student, maybe you hang out with friends, meet new people, and along the way, you pick up some new vocabularies. Yes, it can happen. But adults, we don't have time. And to be honest, we don't have the energy, right? So what we're really looking for are small steps that we can rely on, we can use tomorrow. I know the feeling of wanting to do everything in Japanese, not just the ordering. Sometimes you will need to make a complaint. You need to tell symptoms, make an appointment, everything you want to do in Japanese. Yes, I understand. But for adults, language grows when you take small, safe steps and in places where you already feel comfortable. So don't go out of your comfort zone, but just push the walls out a little bit every day. The second advice is do not worry about making Japanese friends first. The truth is, making friends as an adult is already hard, isn't it? Even in your home country, in your own language, it's hard, right? And doing so in your second or third language is even harder. If you are a student whose goal is passing N2 in the next exam, then yes, surrounding yourself with Japanese people practicing all the time and learning through immersion, yes, that makes sense. But most of you listening to this podcast are not like that, I suppose. So I actually suggest the opposite. Find your home people first, people who speak your own language or the share language like English. The people who get your jokes, the people who immediately understand why the garbage rules drive you crazy. And if one of those people happens to be Japanese or speaks Japanese better than you do, then congratulations, you've got a good friend. When your social battery is filled by people who really see you, you suddenly have more energy, more patience, more room. And that's when navigating Japanese society feels possible. So you need a solid base to stand before you try to build a bridge. And that leads to my third point. Number 3, put your mental health at the very top of your priority list. When you're in a student mindset, your goal is the score. You push yourself, you give up sleep, you drop hobbies, you give up Netflix, and you tell yourself it's temporary, just until I pass N and an E. But when you're living your life in Japan as an adult expat, Your mental health matters more than anything. If you are exhausted, if you're starting to resent the language, if one bad interaction at the post office leaves you in tears, it's a signal. It's okay to pause. It's okay to take a few days off. It's okay to enjoy Netflix in your own language. For me, for example, I often listen to my favorite radio show from Osaka, where I'm from. It's full of dialect, Osaka ben, and it's so silly, and sometimes it's so rough and dirty, but I laugh so hard. And that helps me a lot. It really helps me keep my balance. If learning Japanese costs you your peace of mind, then the price is just too high. Language is just a tool, and you are the one holding it. So what's the point of forcing yourself to use a tool when you've lost interest or when you've stopped seeing any value in it? You're not learning Japanese to become a language learning machine. You're learning to live a life. And I've noticed this. When people stop trying to follow the rules of being a perfect student, something softens. They start enjoying their lives in Japan a little more. And interestingly, that's often when the language starts to settle in on its own. So this week, be kind to yourself. Call your parents or friend back home and enjoy Netflix. Your well-being matters more than your vocabulary. And if today's conversation resonated with you, I put together a short reflection called Why Japanese Feels Hard Even When You've Studied. It goes deep into this mental side of learning as an adult. You can find the link in the description if you like to read it slowly in your own time. Thank you for being there. I'll see you next time. では、さようなら。